Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So if this is your first time watching the channel, thank you for being here. I want to give you a little backdrop story of why I started this channel. Been living in Belize now going on about 3 years, and rooster never gets old all day. Been living here in Belize about 3 years, and before we moved here, we came here on vacation. We came here on vacation in May for 7 days, went back to the States, sold everything, packed up, and drove from south of Atlanta, Georgia to Belize and started in Placencia. That was where we started when we got here. But the reason why I started this channel is because I noticed after I was here that there was something that was missing. And that is to bring a different perspective about to Belize of people who are thinking about moving here, because what I noticed when I was searching things back in the States, everything was smiles and fun and laughter, and Belize was just the greatest place to live, and Belize had no problems, and there was nothing going on, and everybody's just happy all of the time, and nothing can go wrong. And of course, just like everywhere else, when me and my wife got here and we landed in Placencia, of course, because as most of you know, if you search Belize, it's going to point you towards Placencia, and I'm going to tell you why that is. But so that's where we started too. We started in Placencia. We fell for the honeypot. So I'm hoping to help some of you out there so you don't fall for the honeypot. So let me tell you about Placencia. When we arrived in Placencia, we got there in June, about 40 days after we spent a few days there on vacation, which, you know, I've said before, vacation in Belize and living in Belize is two different things. So we started off in Placencia. We got there. We were living down by the village, rented a place, and everything was great. It was Lobster Fest was around the corner. There was a lot going on. And as soon as Lobster Fest was over, it was like everything stopped. It was just completely dead. And we got to see a different side to Placencia. We got to see the side that tourists don't really get to see because it was slow season. So the reason why they point a lot of people to Placencia is Placencia has a nickname in Belize. They call it the Kingdom. They call it the Kingdom for a reason. It looks like Millionaires Row down in Islamorada, Florida, in the Keys. It's a lot of people with money, a lot of people with flashy houses, huge pools. I mean, it's just a 16-mile strip of money, and it's has a safe feeling environment to it. And that's where they point most of the tourists to. So when you're looking up Belize, it is going to point you to Placencia specifically because of that reason, because of the tourist. Where do tourists want to go when they're on vacation? They want to go to the lap of luxury. If they're not looking to be on an island for their entire time, they're going to come mainly to Placencia. And from Placencia, that's where all the excursions take place, from, you know, the zip lining, the cave tubing, the horseback riding, the Monkey River tours, the jungle tours, from snorkeling and diving. Every much is pretty much accessible right there out of Placencia. So it's basically your one-stop shop if you're a tourist and you're visiting here. But like I said, it's completely different when you live there. We ended up leaving the village. It just wasn't our vibe. It was, to me, and like I say, I only give these stories from my personal experience. Other people have completely different experiences, and that's fine, and we're all entitled to our own opinion. For me, I don't like everybody up in my business. And when I was in the village, that's pretty much what it felt like. It felt like just, you know, everybody wants to know what you're doing. You either fit in or you don't. You're either part of the in crowd or you're not. And I've always gone against the grain, and I pretty much mind my business unless I feel that it's something that is affecting me directly. And I don't get in other people's business per se. Like I said, unless I feel that it's affecting me some way. A lot of the controversial videos that I do on this channel is because it's bringing out a feeling or it's affecting me in some way. So when I do things about the Belize in US, it's because, you know, as a taxpayer, it affects me greatly when I see things go on here. But getting away from that and getting back to Placencia. Living in Placencia is completely different. And we ended up moving, we were down in the village area for about 6 months, and it just wasn't our thing. It just wasn't our vibe. It just, no. So, but that's us. Other people love it. More power to you. So we moved up to Maya Beach. Maya Beach is more of a friendly, supposed to be laid back family atmosphere, which it was. In Maya Beach, we rented a place that was right on the water. We had a boat that was parked out back, and we pretty much kept to ourselves in our own little slice of paradise, but still continued to watch everything go on around us. And what I saw there, living there, is the amount of people that came to Placencia and realized that what they were told, and when they got there, was something completely different. And that's what happens to a lot of people. You know, that's why I've done the videos on buying real estate and moving to Belize. If you go to Placencia and you look at a lot of their real estate, you're going to see a bunch of houses that were just built within the last year. I know about 4 of them right now that were just built within the last year, right on the strip, were just built, and they are up for sale. And there's a reason why they're up for sale. There's a reason why they're up for sale. But if you don't know this information, you don't know what to look for, you don't know what to ask for, you're just going to get that smile. So this is what I'm trying to prevent you from getting. In my opinion, Placencia is beautiful to visit. It is beautiful if you've been down there for a while and you're locked in and you got your business and you're rolling in them tourist dollars. It is probably perfect for you. For somebody who's just coming in, who's trying to live on a budget and doesn't have a lot of money, it's really not the place. Let me tell you what, one of the things that really bothered me too, you know, talking with a lot of locals down there in Placencia, it's a shame that most of the people who work in Placencia can't even afford to live there. And in my opinion, Placencia is never going to prosper or get to where it could be until you have locals who are living in there. Because let me tell you what, slow season in Placencia, it's dead. It's dead. And I watch so many people try to open up a little business or roadside cafe or what have you, and it just didn't flourish. It may flourish during the busy season when there's tourists, but when the tourists leave, you got to have something to keep that coming. And if you don't have locals who can work and live in Placencia, how's that, you know, going to work out? Most of the locals, and there is quite a few, and if you guys know who you are and watch this channel, that I've been to your house. I actually came off the peninsula and went to your house and saw where you lived and everything. And a lot of the workers that are in Placencia live in the outskirt villages of Placencia, and that's their number one gripe, is they have to take a bus to get to work. Just so anyways, I can go on and on and on. My experience living in Placencia, it's a honeypot. Like I said, it's my opinion. That is my experience. It is a honeypot. They want tourists to go there. If you want to feel safe, if you want the illusion that you're going to be safe all the time, which is another big thing, that is the only area that I've been to in Belize so far with that old saying of don't make here like there. What I noticed is a lot of people that were coming, that were moving from wherever they were from, when they would get to Placencia, they were immediately on the Facebook groups, you know, complaining about this, dogs off the leashes, dogs off the leashes, somebody burning garbage, just, it goes on and on and on. You know, one of the guys that I was talking to, he told me about how a female expat down towards the end actually called the cops on his son because his son was walking around with a machete and a spear gun. You're in Belize. I grew up in South Florida walking around with spear guns because we grew up on the water. So these are things that you're going to run into when you go to Placencia. Placencia can be a good starting point if you want a different type of lifestyle. And I guess you have to stay there for longer than 30 days to really understand what I'm talking about. But those of you that have, I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm not too far off from the actual point. Like I said, Placencia is not a bad place at all. It's a great place to visit. If you're a tourist and you come into Belize, Placencia is the top spot if you don't want to be out on one of the islands or the cays and you want to feel like you're living the life of luxury. Placencia is going to be the place to go. But like I said, living there, completely different. So you need to really start looking around. Look around at some of the real estate groups. Look at how many houses were built within, I'm going to say 18 months. Look at how many houses were built in Placencia within the last 18 months and how many of those are up for sale. There is a lot. Like I said, there's a reason why. You have to find that out why, because a lot of people that were honeypotted into going to Placencia to live there didn't get the reality that they thought they were going to get. I just saw one recently where a lady was complaining about the prices of goods in Placencia. Of course, it's a tourist trap. Everything is 3 times higher. The only people that really shop in Placencia are the people that have the money to do it. I didn't even like it. The prices were, especially on household goods, microwaves, toasters, anything like that, you're going to pay 3 times as much as you're normally used to or that you can order it yourself in for. So you have to keep that in mind. But somebody else is taking their time to order it in and they need to make money, so it is what it is. What's something else that I can tell you about Placencia? Except you're just going to have to find out for yourself. Like I said, Placencia is a great place. Once again, in my opinion, Placencia is a great place to start if you need to. But there's so many other places in Belize that you don't want to pass up, I guess is what I'm saying. You should check out every area. You should definitely talk to the locals. The locals is where you're going to get a lot of information. The locals is where you're going to get your truth. To make a point about that, I met many of the guides when we would go out to dinner and stuff, overhearing them at the bars or just talking to them, one-on-one. A lot of the tour guides, they're out there taking people for their tours and everything. And, when you go on an excursion with a tour guide here in Placencia, you're not going to get the bad. No, that is their job. They're doing what they're supposed to do. So when you come here to visit and you go on these excursions and the tour guides are telling you, everything is great. Of course, that is their job. They're not going to, make it seem anything less than this. These are the same guys that you're going to see at the local hangouts at night complaining that they can't afford to live there, about slow season, complaining about, their government here in Belize. So there's always 2 sides to every story. It's a great place to get information is, hanging out in the local spots because you'll get a lot of information. So the main gist of this video, like I said, because sometimes I can ramble on, and I know I can, but it happened to us. We got honeypotted to going to Placencia. And since we were there almost 2 years ago, the prices in Placencia have gone through the roof, especially for rentals and everything. We're going to do a video here coming up on the cost of living in Belize because since we have gotten here, inflation has hit here and it has gone through the roof. So that's going to be another video coming up. But like I said, Placencia may be a good spot to start, but it's probably not a good spot where you're actually going to end up. It's just mainly for the tourists and the excursions that are running. Pretty much it. It is the kingdom. They keep it protected because of that reason. Just like, a business is always going to protect its money. Placencia, for all intents and purposes, is the tourist hotspot. Besides Caye Caulker and Ambergris Caye, that is one of the #1 tourist spots for Belize. So of course, you're always going to get the smiles, but there's a different side of that. So yes, don't get honey potted with what you're going to see a lot on the internet about Placencia. You are steered in that direction for a reason. So my advice to you is, when you're being steered in a direction, if you're anything like me, I always want to see what the other hand is doing. And that's how I made the decisions that I made when we got here to end up where I'm at. And I'm completely happy where I'm at. And Belize is a beautiful country and has the most friendliest people, not everybody, but the most friendliest people that I have ever been around in my life. And they definitely make you feel welcome. It reminds me of when I was growing up. I grew up in a melting pot in Florida where there was all races. And, you know, growing up as kids, we all just grew up together. You know, we didn't know anything about hate or feeling unwanted or anything like that. And I can tell you that that is one problem that you will not have in Belize. Belizeans will not make you feel unwanted. I think if Belizeans, and I'm not speaking for Belizeans, if I had an idea of what most Belizeans want, from what I've learned, it's for you to respect them and understand them and realize that you're not better than them. And I did another video on that, you know, about people that want to come to Belize. I think they're better than other people. That's the first way here to you know, put a bad taste in people's mouth. And you don't have to do that. There's enough of Belize to go around. You have to respect it. You know, that's the other thing that really got to me about Placencia. And I'm just going to say it. The amount of mangroves that I saw being ripped down for progress, the amount of rock walls being added to make erosion even worse, all in the name of money. I'm hoping that, for me, I'm hoping that Belize slows down a little bit. You know, look at the US and other places that were just all about money. Life isn't all about money. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys got some information out of it. Just do your research on Placencia. Like I said, it's a great starting point if you just want to go somewhere and you want to relax while you're looking at an entire country of where you may want to be. Because like I said, 9 out of 10 people that come to Belize do not end up where they first started. And a lot of people start in Placencia, and a lot of people are not in Placencia anymore. So once again, guys, thanks for watching this video. Enjoy your Sunday. I know I am. You can see behind me. I'm going to take a long walk and check out some wildlife. And don't get honey potted into Placencia. Do your research. Be safe. Be smart. Information is power. Stay informed. Thanks for watching, everyone.